Welcome to Contemporary Retirement. Contemporary Retirement is a public interest program focused on the retirement community. Every program has segments on legal, financial, and health issues affecting the retirement community. Contemporary Retirement is sponsored in part by a major grant from the Family Heritage Trust Company.
Contemporary Retirement is sponsored by Family Heritage Trust Company. The Family Heritage Trust Company is an independent bank chartered trust company established by local professionals to provide fiduciary services, including fee-based investment advice, trust services, retirement planning, and tax planning. The Family Heritage Trust Company is committed to client service in our communities. For more information, call the Family Heritage Trust Company at 301-631-5900.
Contemporary Retirement is sponsored in part by a grant from R. Thomas Murphy & Associates, P.C. R. Thomas Murphy & Associates is one of Franklin County's leading law firms, emphasizing estate, trust, elder law, and medical assistance planning.
Welcome to the Is It Legal feature on Contemporary Retirement. This segment focuses on various legal issues affecting the retirement community. With me today is Tom Murphy from the R. Thomas Murphy Law Firm with offices Waynesboro, Chambersburg, and McConnellsburg. Welcome to the show, Tom.
Good morning, Mike.
Tom, we spent the last several weeks talking about some very interesting traps that the public is confronted with. One of the traps we were talking about are Medicaid service bureaus.
Right. What you're seeing more of is nursing homes creating these sub-entities that appear to be in the client's best interest, but in reality they are nothing more than another way to get the family to spend their money.
And sort of creates an illusion that this organization is here to help you. You don't have to pay a lot of attorney's fees. We're going to take care of this for you.
Exactly. It's usually free, but in reality you end up spending tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars unnecessarily.
On care that you could have otherwise gotten some benefits, but they don't want you to get those benefits because they get a higher reimbursement rate getting your money.
Exactly. They'd much rather take your money than the government's money.
Then we see law firms doing these, give me $10,000, I'll be your best friend for life.
Actually, these care agreements are, designed to make you feel like you've got a best friend out there, but the reality, they're an illusion, because if that person drops dead, what do you have? And you can pay as you go.
Or those rules may not be in existence by the time that you would actually need it, because now you're projecting that I've prepaid for services, sort of, for the next 3 to 5 years, 10 years, 15 years. And we've seen that many times the level of service provided in the Medicaid application is nowhere comparable to the way that we do it when we're doing it fact specific to the given client.
Right, and so again, it comes back to deal with the issue that's confronting you at that time, pay for it at that time, and I think you'll be better off.
Then we have the same issue with these trust guys selling them at hotels.
Oh yeah, they're a mess. I mean, they're promising the sky and the moon and everything else, and in the reality, they rarely do any of that.
And oftentimes their documents contain a lot of poison pills which will actually interfere with medical assistance qualification.
Right.
While in the same breath they're saying, well, this will work for everything.
Oh yeah, it's like this is the silver bullet, it'll do everything, but in most cases that language you referred to will actually trap assets in there and prevent us from getting eligibility, which would normally occur really quickly.
And so, oftentimes when you talk to people and you have the same problem with, lawyers saying, well, we provide assistance in elder law. And I think the magic bullet question to ask those people is how many Medicaid applications have they ever done?
Yeah, and that's a good point, because in most people's mind, that's the progression. Hey, I want to be safe and secure now through the long career, and then after my passing.
And so when that hotel, selling of that stuff, saying, well, this works for everything, this works for Medicaid, well, I think you need to ask them how many Medicaid applications have you done?
Right, and you say that, and most of them are going to say, well, what's Medicaid?
Well, we don't need to because this works. Well, actually, it doesn't work.
Right, and we spend an inordinate amount of time fixing those things or trying to fix them where you've created a mess where they didn't need to be one.
And for most middle-class folks, when you're looking at your biggest economic risk, it's not probate, it's not taxes, it's long-term care costs.
Absolutely. So you want to make sure you know the facts there, have your documents in order, and most times a trust is not one of the tools we're using.
And when we go along to sort of these canned answers, the last one we have is these VA service bureaus.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Again, like the nursing home bureaus, these are nothing more, in most cases, of do a little bit of paperwork, but sell a product. So a lot of selling going on unnecessarily.
And that product will either involve an annuity sometimes, more often than not, or a use of a trust. And one of the problems that we have here is the VA has made it clear that they intend to attack these techniques.
Right.
And one of the problems is we don't know the effective date of that. And we've seen the federal government routinely say the effective date is the date of the proposed rules change, which means these strategies are at high risk of not working retroactively.
Exactly, and so you'll get these promises, and usually someone's wrapped in a flag telling you how wonderful things are, and they're creating these problems that we may not know exist until these new rules come out.
And one of the problems here is those strategies may work for aid and attendance, the VA benefit, but they are almost uniformly going to fail in the Medicaid strategies. And so now you've solved an $1,100 a month for a spouse, maybe $1,700, $1,800 a month for the veteran, but in the meantime create a $10,000 a month problem in the nursing home.
Yeah, and that's the heart of the problem, because those folks are looking at a very narrow situation in order to get a little bit of a paycheck, and they're creating problems which may cost you $10,000 down the road.
You know, we can't get paid to provide assistance for aid and attendance. One of our lawyers is qualified to do it, and we pay to have it done, even though we can't get paid, but we view it as a personal service to veterans that we do it. But these other organizations need to get paid, and so they've circumvented that you can't get paid by selling products.
Exactly, and so that, again, you have to understand why they're doing that, and if they're not charging you for this, expect they're going to be paying for that, and you got to be careful.
You know, Tom, these are always great challenges. I know everybody would prefer not to deal with a lawyer, and I always say somewhat tongue-in-cheek, I wouldn't want to pay a lawyer either, but at the end of the day, if they understand our underlying premises, we're not in business to charge fees. We're in business to add value.
Exactly, and we are not selling products. We're trying to give advice that's going to help our clients, and inevitably, I think that's a better deal than selling some product to some poor soul.
Tom, as always, thanks for taking time to appear on the program.
You're welcome.
More from Contemporary Retirement after these messages.
Few things in life are as important as family. Leave your insurance worries to us, Wright Gardner. Call or visit our website to learn how we can make insurance simple and more affordable.
Every life that meets its end leaves a heart for love to mend. Sister, brother, family, friends are left to carry on. When the loss seems more than you can bear, it's nice to know that we'll be there at Douglas A. Fiery Funeral Home. We care.
Call Ed Lowe to help put your mind at ease.
Welcome to a special guest feature on Contemporary Retirement. This segment focuses on various issues which are of importance to the retirement community. With me today is Matt Hurley from Matt Hurley Auctions. Welcome to the show, Matt.
Thanks, Mike. Good to be here.
Yeah, Matt, we've had quite a seismic shift in the way that you and I approach breaking down houses. In the old days, you wouldn't even attempt to sell in the wintertime because of bad weather.
Yeah, that's right. Too much of a risk. What snow? Will there be a blizzard? Will it be cold?
Or you would have a problem that you might have a nice house, but somebody else all of a sudden came up after your sale full of antiques or so forth, that all the collectors wanted to go there, and you would end up with no attendance.
That's true. December, January, and February are now some of my very best auctions. And those months used to be terrible. But now people are anxious to bid because they're stuck at home, it's cold, it's dark early, and they're on their computers.
And of course, you're selling this stuff on computer, on auction lines, and the fact is you have 15,000 qualified bidders. And the thing that we in my generation have to understand, I want to see and touch the stuff, but the buyers today don't care.
They don't. They're an Amazon generation. My wife doesn't see anything she buys. She looks at it on the computer, clicks order, and 2 days later it's on our porch.
And so you essentially run the auction the same way.
Same way. And there's a lot of advantages. One is security. If you have a live auction, everybody's handling everything and it gets slipped in a pocket. If it's online, they can't take it. And so a lot of security and just safety issues.
And then of course it allows you to reach out across the globe for people who might be interested.
It does. In the last year we sent a car to Canada, a motorcycle to Canada. We sent a car to Germany. We sent machinery to Mexico. and we could have never done that even 10 years ago.
And of course, as we hammer on this all the time, rule number one,
Don't throw anything away.
you have no idea what has
That's right.
value.
That's
The
right.
stuff that had value doesn't have value anymore. But we always like the show and tell part
Yeah.
of this program. It's always fun. So as we look at this here, I'm going to start right here
Okay.
with these tumblers.
And well, the title is Why Would Someone Buy This? And you know, these are just tumblers, probably from the 60s, maybe early 70s, but they're in their original box. They're in excellent condition, and people remember them sitting at mom's house or grandma's house, and they buy them now to decorate. And they'll use them. They're very usable, but they now are desirable.
So it might bring a few bucks.
Oh, they might bring $20 or $30.
Don't throw it away.
Yeah.
Now this one here, I struggle with this one just a little bit,
You know,
Matt.
when I saw this, I thought, I got to take this because this is the stuff that gets thrown away. This is grandma's old stockings. And I can remember my grandmother, who was in her 90s, she wore these. And people throw this stuff away, but it's now very desirable, can bring $50, $75, $100. This is an original box of undergarments. And people throw it away, and it can add up to hundreds or thousands of dollars. And there's a collector club for everything. And so there's even a vintage underwear collectors club. And
Yeah,
so
it
they
reminds me of
collect
the
it all.
old Everett Dirksen, who was before your time, once said in Congress, $1 million here, $1 million there. Next thing you know, you have $1 billion.
There you go. It all heads up.
It all adds up. Now, these here are clearly in the trash.
Oh no, I brought these. These are the best. These are vintage eyewear and stuff. But if you look around, you'll see people wearing reproductions of these. But if you could get an original pair, wow, you would be the thing. And so things that get thrown away all the time. But these are just spectacular. And they will do very well at auction.
Amazing. All right, I give up. What's this?
I brought this along. I just thought it was neat. It's a little key ring, but it's an address book or a phone for your phone numbers.
Oh, so
And
this was pre-smartphone.
Yeah, pre-smartphone, about 50 years pre-smartphone, 60 years. And
So it
so
doesn't
I
have
just
a
thought it
phone
was
on.
so unique. It has a little telephone on it. And again, these are things that are in the junk drawer that the family just throws, oh, that's grandma's junk. But you know what, if you pick 50 items out of that junk drawer that each bring $10, it's a lot of money.
This
And
thing
so
is amazing
don't throw it
because
away.
it's designed to protect it. It's got the steel and all
I had to
that.
bring that along. I just thought it was pretty unique.
Absolutely amazing. Now, this dolly does not look to be in the world's greatest
Well, you know,
shape.
she's not, but it's Shirley Temple. And the reason
Oh.
I brought her is not only is it Shirley Temple, but she still has her Shirley Temple tag. And that's what makes her valuable. She has the original dress. It's a Shirley Temple dress with the Shirley Temple tag. And so make sure those tags stay on there. Still a lot of value.
All right, and then pictures. Everybody says
Yeah.
nobody's going to want pictures.
People say, I don't know those people, Matt. They're my great-great-great-grandparents. Throw those away. I brought these because the more they have in them, like this has a picture of a man with his lawnmower.
Right.
People will decorate with that. There was recently a picture sold that showed an early sewing machine with a man operating it. It sold for $22,000. And so just to give you an idea, this one says the bridal chamber. And so anything that adds to it is just adding value. Some of these are just, you know, pictures that people will use to decorate, a gentleman leaning against the old building. But anything we can add to it, like the tent, the lawnmower. This is just a family photo that people say, Matt, I don't know any of these people, and they throw these things away. They have value. People will pay a lot of money to decorate their house with your relatives. And so I brought this one because it's an old school photo. On the chalkboard, it says what school it was and what year, which everything like that adds value. The more you can tell about it, the more you know about it, the more valuable it is. And I love this one. There's no person in it. It doesn't have a person in the picture, but it's an old office. And this is one that people will really go after and decorate their office with.
Well, I know my wife purchases postcards from the 20s and 30s from her hometowns on the
Yeah.
internet. Well, Matt, as always, how can they get a hold of you?
They can look us up on the web, on the internet. It's hurleyauctions.com, or give us a call, 717-597-9100.
Matt, as always, thanks for taking time to appear on
Thank
the
you.
program.
Good to be here.
More from Contemporary Retirement after these messages.
Tranquility at Fredericktown Assisted Living and Memory Care provides a warm, home-like atmosphere that promotes daily life enrichment. At Tranquility, our medical director is a geriatric physician. Our professionals support and understand the various stages associated with Alzheimer's and dementia. We have on-site physical, occupational, and speech therapists, as well as around-the-clock licensed nurses. For more information, give Tranquility at Fredericktown a call today, because everyone deserves great care. Let us do the caregiving so you and your loved one can embrace life again.
All right, Let's get this show on the road. Ma'am, give me a good push.
Hang on, just 1 minute.
Ma'am, I need you to push right now.
Honey, you really need to push.
It's time.
Just hold on a minute.
No, right now. One push, ma'am. One push.
Just one more bid on hurleyauctions.com.
If you haven't visited hurleyauctions.com, you don't know what you're missing. Whether you're buying or selling, antique cars, tractors, boats, or real estate, you can do it all at hurleyauctions.com.
Get to know Dr. Carrie Hesley at Diagnostic Imaging Services.
What I find most rewarding is caring for women through our Women's Imaging Center. We have a caring staff that will ease patients through an ultrasound, bone densitometry, breast biopsy, or mammogram. Our health team is sensitive to emotions involved in women's imaging and understands that every woman is at risk for breast cancer. Providing the community with a center that is so dedicated to breast health and the imaging needs of women is something special.
DIS Women's Imaging Center, providing women with progressive care.
Welcome to Contemporary Health Scene. Contemporary Health Scene focuses on the health issues affecting the retirement community. With me today is Gabrielle Henry, Executive Director, Greenfield Assisted Living. Welcome to the show, Gabrielle.
Thank you.
First of all, you've been in this business a while. You're highly qualified in terms of education. Tell us a little bit about it.
Thank you. Yes, I have an undergrad degree in biology, and I minored in geriatrics, and then I have a graduate degree in healthcare administration.
All right, so this is a job that you've been focusing your career on to get ready for, and you have a passion for it.
Yes, I've actually taken care of my grandmother growing up, so it's been a lifelong passion of mine, so that really put the thrive in furthering my education.
Greenfield is unique in our marketplace because of the fact it is completely committed to dementia.
Yes, that is correct. It is an all-memory care community, so we specialize in dementia and Alzheimer's care.
And also what I like about it is the differentiation between differing levels of care within your facility as opposed to having everybody together.
Yes, that is true. So with the different forms of, there are over 100 different forms of dementia, and you take the 100 different forms of dementia and all of the individuals within our community, we really specialize our care in all individualized care.
So you have three basic pods there. We're going to have Director Greg pull up some pictures as we're talking here. But all right, so first of all, you have three basic pods, and those pods allow people of differing levels of need to be together.
Yes, so the first pod is our early onset dementia, different forms of dementia where our staff are just cueing and supervising them during their activities of daily living.
So oftentimes that person in the middle of the day, early in the day, as I oftentimes say, you can't tell the difference between the visitors and the patients.
Yes, that is very true. It is very hard to distinguish.
But as the day goes on and the onset of, the dementia, sundowners issues and so forth, then not too difficult to figure out who the patients are.
Yes, that is correct.
All right, so what is this room here?
This is the main lobby area. We really try to make it a homey environment, and our residents are also allowed in the main lobby area because not only do all wings lock, but the front door locks as well. So we want the residents to feel as though they have access to all departments of the community.
And of course, I've been locked in there on occasion.
Yes.
And so you go and you have these three different units here, and so within each unit is a focus on the needs of that particular patient. So high function, keep them socially engaged, to the lowest functioning, just mostly care.
Yes, and we also try to focus on a lot of one-on-one activities there, a lot of stimulating activities where you focus on the senses. So they're still engaging in activities, it's just a different form.
And of course, as we're going to bring up another set of pictures here showing the outside courtyards and so forth, I think one of the unique features is the size of those courtyards that really allow them to get out and to participate as if, they were in their own yards.
Yes, we do have a walking crew that goes out, weather permitting of course, goes out after every mealtime and just does a little walk through the courtyard.
All right, and the beauty of that courtyard is that it's got large bay windows so that you don't actually have to hover over these people as they're outside. They can actually go out and participate on on their own, even though they're being monitored.
Yes, they always are monitored, but we really try to focus on keeping them as dependent, not as dependent on us as possible, but that they have that independence still within the community.
And I know the question then comes up that my mother loves gardening.
Yes, so we do have a gardening group, and then not only do we have a gardening group for the higher functioning residents, but we also do the gardening group for the lower functioning residents, so they get to have the feel for a gardening activity as well.
All right, and so do you encourage people to come by and visit?
Oh yes, I do. I encourage people to come by any time of the day. We have activities going on all day into the evening. I encourage you all to stop by and just check out the community, engage in one of our activities. We do have an activities calendar that I can also give out.
And this is the courtyard areas. I mean, these are substantial areas that they are allowed to go out and have some semblance of independence.
Yes.
All right, how can they get more information from you?
You can either stop by or give us a call at 301-766-9202.
And that address is?
310 Cameo Drive in Hagerstown, Maryland.
Gabrielle, thanks for taking time to appear on the program.
Thank you, sir.
More from Contemporary Retirement after these messages.
The Community Foundation strives to be a forward-thinking organization.
We are assessing needs, working with donors to see things differently,
so that Frederick County can be its best. It's a wonderful place for all of us to live, work, and play.
We look forward to addressing the future needs of the community.
Visit frederickcountygives.org and learn how you can start to see things differently too.
Albright, Crumbacher, Mal & Eitel are a full-service firm that provides elder care services including managing incoming bills, bill payment, depositing checks, balancing bank statements, and preparing, planning, and filing personal tax returns. Put your mind at ease and call us today.
Welcome to the Making Sense feature on Contemporary Retirement. This segment focuses on various financial issues of importance to the retirement community. With me today is Christian Wright, President of Wright Gardner Insurance. Welcome to the show, Christian.
Thanks, Mike.
You know, Christian, you and I have an anecdotal story that we're involved with currently, in which on a charity, we had 3 different insurance quotes. And because we realize, even with lawyers and CPAs and accountants and all types of high-level business people on that board, I actually went to the meeting and I said to the board, we have no idea what these policies say.
And that's not surprising. That is not surprising at all, Mike. You know, the insurance policies are written by attorneys, but they're also written in a way that if you don't live and breathe it every single day, you just simply lose sight of what it's saying, and it's very confusing.
And one of the problems that you have as you deal with this as lay people as well, you know, I can pretty well read a basic auto policy and a basic homeowner's policy and understand what it says, a basic umbrella policy, but even with the person who does it all the time, such as I do, it's still a sideline. It's not my full-time job.
Exactly, and that's exactly what happens where you know, you'll read it and it may make sense, but then there's an exclusion somewhere. Or the other thing we find out is in our industry, since we're living and breathing it, we may know of available insurance that may plug a gap of an exclusion that's in the policy.
And one of the fun things that we find is when you look at the common carriers, for instance, you know, part of keeping the costs down, it's standard coverage. They're not changing that contract.
Right, they're not at all. And you know, when we talk about cost, we've talked about that before, the cost of insurance is pretty vanilla. It's pretty generic across the board with all insurance companies, and and whenever there's a variation, there's always a reason why.
Well, because in reality, you know, they're actuarial studies. They're all pretty much using same databases to come up with the risk anyway. They know what their competitors are charging. And so when you really go apples to apples, you're going to typically end up with fairly comparable premiums.
Exactly, exactly. And those actuaries that crunch the numbers and have the data that now, you know, each year it gets better and better, they can pretty much predict spot on what it's going to cost, you know, or the potential of a loss and what it should cost to pay for that loss, and that's how they back down into the rates.
But you know, that really brings the real point here, apples to apples, because in reality, you know, we see these TV ads and they're saying that they can charge a lot less, and there is no magic in that business, and the commissions that are being paid agents are not substantial enough to justify a purported substantial reduction in premium.
Correct, correct. So what we see is when there is that, well, first of all, getting an apples to apples comparison is very difficult because the insurance companies, not necessarily intentionally, but they offer different bells and whistles, as I said, to plug some gaps of exclusions and things like that. But what happens is the difficulty in making sure that you have something that's comparable is that if a premium is less, they're probably playing games with deductibles. Or if they're saving you 15% on a personal policy, they're probably somewhere along the way cutting coverage.
And that's what we find is when I look at these purported lower cost policies, they're substandard coverage because in reality, these are sophisticated companies. They all know what the risk factors are, and they're not stupid. They realize that they have to be competitive on those numbers because they are probably, as much as any industry, being shopped every day.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I talk to my clients who say it's amazing. They get 25 to 30 calls a day. I mean, it's for people asking to work on their insurance. I didn't know that there were that many insurance agents out there. But the fact of the matter is, you're right. It's very competitive. The pricing should be vanilla. If it's not, you need to ask why and find out why. And that's why it's totally, appropriate to make sure you understand the coverages that you're purchasing.
And believe it or not, sometimes people would think this is the fox guarding the hen house, but sometimes you need to go to an agent and say, all right, explain the differences in these policies. Explain the differences. Why should I select you versus somebody else?
Right, and that's really the professional duty of that agent, is to be honest, transparent, and give you the knowledge that they have.
And of course, you bring another unique feature as opposed to the common carriers, is because you're an independent agent.
Correct, yes. As we mentioned before, we represent a multitude of insurance carriers, and we're not beholden to one insurance carrier. So that gives us the freedom to really work for the client to place the insurance for their needs and not make our insurance company fit them.
Christian, as always, thanks for taking time to appear on the program.
Thanks, Mike.
Thank you from Contemporary Retirement.
Remember a more carefree time? Leave your insurance worries to us, Wright Gardner. Call or visit our website to learn how we can make insurance simple and more affordable.
These days, it seems like everything's online, and filling out claim forms and receiving and paying bills online isn't always easiest. That's why we at Quality First Insurance encourage you to just give us a call. Let us help.
Hi there, I'm Paul Sweeney with Quality First Insurance, and it's still just this simple. Our offices are open every weekday where you'll be able to call and speak to real, live people.
No detail was missed. I'm so glad that I turned to Quality First Insurance.
I've recommended Quality First Insurance to my friends who've been just as satisfied.
If you're not happy with what you're paying for Medigap, or more importantly, not happy with your service, give us a try. We're locally owned, and we take the time to provide you with the best. We are Quality First Insurance, and our mission is to provide quality products to quality people. Pick up the phone and give us a call today at 800-745-1411.